So hello students, now I am going to complete the topic which was started earlier, and now I am going to tell you about the interaction of T lymphocytes with antigen. So as I told you earlier in previous lecture that T lymphocytes, they always need antigen whenever it is presented with the MHC. So these T lymphocytes, they are not simple like B lymphocytes where antigen lead to activated B cells. Okay. So I also told you that there are different types of T lymphocytes. They can differentiate into T helper cells, T cytotoxic cells and T suppressor cells. So depending on the type of cell to which T lymphocytes are going to interact. Type of cell means if it is if the cell is infected. Here you can see in the diagram. So this is the infected target cell, means if the cell which is infected by any pathogen that has got infected. Okay, so this cell, target cell is infected, that is not presented, the antigen is not presented by the antigen presenting cells. Here any cell which can be antigen presenting cell or any normal cell that can be infected. Okay, so the T cytotoxic cells, I told you there are three types, if you remember: T helper cells, TH cells, T cytotoxic cells and T suppressor cells. So here I am talking about T cytotoxic first, because in this diagram you can see the infected target cell, the cell which has to be removed. Okay, so that is infected and body doesn't, or particular tissue doesn't want to retain it. Okay, so this target cell will have a receptor. ठीक? And this receptor, what kind of receptor it will be? It will be MHC1, major histocompatibility 1, first type. MHC1 type is present in all the nucleated, present on the membranes of all the nucleated cells. So this is the cell membrane of the infected target cell which has MHC1 bound to it, and it has the antigen, that the antigen is coming from the infection. Whatever infection is there inside the cell, the cell is presenting that antigenic part of that infection through MHC1. Okay, so this MHC1 with antigen can be now recognized by the T cell receptor, that is TCR. Okay, so this TCR, whenever it will interact with the MHC1 or MHC2, every time TCR should be coupled with certain type of other receptors, like this is CD3. CD3 is what C and D stands for. This is cluster of differentiation. This is a proteinaceous molecule, or you can say this is also glycoprotein in nature. And one more thing, this is kind of marker for any cell. So CD stands for cluster of differentiation, and it can be marker for any particular cell type if certain number is written with it. So it is CD3. Okay, so one more number is written here, one more blue colored receptor is there, so that is also helping this T cell receptor, that is CD8. Here I am saying CD8. So CD3 you will see it will common to all type of cells. whether it is T helper cell, T cytotoxic cell and T suppressor, it will CD3 will be there, okay, but this CD8 may vary, okay. So, and here you see the cytotoxic T cell. So, the two cells are interacting, cell number 1 and cell number 2. So, whenever antigen is coming from the from the infected cell which act as a target cell, it will have MHC1 on its receptor, and the antigen will be there from the particular infection, whatever kind of infection the cell has got, and then it will interact with the T lymphocyte, and T lymphocyte will be cytotoxic type, and it will have 3 specific receptors which will cross talk with the MHC1 containing antigen. This is the antigen which is coming from the infection. So, this cytotoxic cell will release certain factors to kill it. Infected cell has to be killed. Okay. So, this is about cytotoxic T cell. Suppose it is T helper cell, then what will happen? Instead of this, I am going to convert it into T helper cell. So, what will change here? Only this will change, and instead of MHC1, it will be MHC2, and here it will be MHC, and there will be 2 transmembrane domains, and this will be antigen presenting cell. Antigen presenting cell or APC. Antigen presenting cell will be there. The cell will, I told you earlier that cell will engulf the antigen, phagocytose the antigen, because they are phagocytic cells like B lymphocytes, macrophages and dendritic cells. So, any of the cell which act as antigen presenting cell which has encountered the antigen, that will process the antigen. Process means they will break the antigen whole. Suppose whole bacteria has been engulfed, this whole bacteria will not be presented on by MHC molecule. So, it will be chopped into smaller pieces. So, antigenic determinant or small peptide fragments will be presented on the via MHC. So, here one change will be there, that will be, it will be MHC class 2. So, antigen presenting cell is there, MHC class 2 is there, and the antigen which is presented being here, this antigen is called exogenous antigen. Means this antigen has come from outside the body. So, recently it has been trapped by the antigen presenting cell or phagocytic cell, and they have processed. So, for any other cell where I was saying the cytotoxic T cell was targeting the cell, that cell was infected with endogenous antigen. Suppose virus is present inside the body and or the bacteria is present inside the body, and they had infected, and they has produced viral particles and cell got infected. So, that will be dealt with by the cytotoxic T cells. But here this is the mechanism how it is the exogenous or foreign body has been taken and processed. So, this is exogenous antigen, and T cell receptor will be there, and CD3 will be there like T cytotoxic cell, and here it will be CD4. So, T helper cells with antigen, and it will have the co-stimulatory molecule, or you should write like this, T helper cells and CD4 receptors with antigen attached with the MHC 2. This is the case for the exogenous antigen. When antigen is endogenous, then what will happen? It will be T cytotoxic cell, TCYT, plus here receptor will be CD8 and antigen, and this histocompatibility molecule will be MHC1. So you can see only antigen is common here, and that is also, it is also not common. One is exogenous and this is endogenous. So this kind of, so you can see CD4 and CD8. So at this time I would like to remind you, you all might have studied in various papers and in the textbooks also, that in case of AIDS, that is a acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, and that is caused by HIV virus. What it does, HIV virus attacks on which type of cells? HIV virus targets only, it targets T helper cells. T helper cells, and their target is CD4. They enter through CD4 receptors. So CD4 receptors are the main target for the HIV virus, and T helper cell. Therefore, these T helper cells, what will happen? They infect the T helper cells, and in due course of time, after infection, maybe 10 years or 10 to 15 years, the number of T helper cells decline. They are very low in number. Therefore, you might have heard that in HIV infection, the person dies with common cold, and fever. So these things are not deadly one, anyone can be treated, but the person who is infected with the HIV virus, because of decline in T helper cells. T helper cells, why T helper cells are so essential? Because T helper cells are the cells which are going to help B lymphocytes for antibody production. Okay. So this is about B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte, how the antigen is being processed and presented. So what type of molecules are involved. So another term you might have studied in the notes which I gave you earlier. So this is humoral immunity and cell mediated. Okay, so these two terminologies you are aware of. So cell humoral immunity means you are going to, whenever the body fluid is involved. So if you have to check the antibody in the blood circulation, you can take the blood and serum is separated from the blood, and in the serum antibody level can be checked. So humoral immunity is dealing with the body fluids, and cell mediated immunity basically involves T cells, or you can say T cytotoxic cells. So these two are, now you can ask whether it is part of the innate immunity or it is part of the adaptive immunity. So this is part of adaptive immunity, because this is the adaptive immunity. I told you this is a very specific type of immunity as compared to innate immunity, because a lot of lymphocytes, they interact together for production of antibodies. So adaptive immunity has two branches, you can say, humoral immunity and cell mediated, but these two types, they work together to for strengthening the immune system. Now we will I will give you a kind of a schematic chart, like how this B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes both are interacting together, and how you can remember that these are the lymphocytes and how they secrete various type of antibodies. And type of antibody also I have to tell you, explain you. It is here. So here is a branch of humoral immunity, and here it is cell mediated. So you understand what happens when antigen is taken up. Antigen is taken by antigen presenting cells, that is APCs. Then APCs, what they do, they will stimulate T cells. Okay, these are the T cells. What kind of T cells? They will be T helper cells, because here I am talking about talking about antigen presenting cells. So T helper cells, TS cells will be stimulated, and these T helper cells, what they do, they stimulate B cells. So B cells are getting stimulation, and one more thing, B cells may also get stimulated directly by the antigen. So you can see here, antigen can directly bind to B cells, because B cells are also antigen presenting cells, or if not, it is not directly being taken up by the B cells, then it might be taken by the antigen presenting cells, maybe in the tissue sites, because two other type of antigen presenting cells, macrophages and dendritic cells, or sometimes B lymphocytes are present in the lymph nodes or secondary lymphoid organs. There also antigen can be taken by different type of antigen presenting cells. So what will happen? Antigen, if it is directly, then B lymphocyte will secrete antibody. These antibodies are secreted, and what will happen? It can convert into, antibodies are secreted means they are changed into plasma cells, and here they change into memory cells. So two possibilities are there. After antigen encounter, B cell may convert into plasma cell and memory cell. Plasma cell will secrete antibody, or if it is taken by antigen presenting cells, they will stimulate T helper cells, and T helper cell will stimulate B lymphocyte, and B lymphocyte will again differentiate into. So these two stimulations are there for activation of B lymphocytes. Okay. And here also what happened, this T helper cell, after stimulation, they can also convert into T memory cells. This is the new thing, which like B lymphocytes, they are convert into memory cell. T lymphocyte also after getting stimulated, they release certain factors or cytokines, and then they will activate B lymphocytes, or at the same time after APC stimulation, T helper cell will change into memory cell and effector T cells. And these memory helper cells, they can also stimulate memory B cells, okay. And these helper T cells, what happens, this, if here we are talking about humoral immunity, where antibody can be detected in the body fluid or the blood. Body fluid I am saying because instead of blood you can assess the antibody in the urine also, okay. But here if it is cell mediated immunity, then antigen is taken up by which type of cell? T cytotoxic. Here you can see the difference. Antigen is directly taken by the cytotoxic cell, and this cytotoxic cell will give rise to memory cell, memory cytotoxic, यहाँ memory TH हो गई, memory T cytotoxic, and this helper cell will also stimulate these memory cytotoxic cells. They are helpers, so they will help B lymphocyte memory cell as well as T cytotoxic memory cells, and at the same time it can activate, this is activated T cytotoxic, okay. So, and these all get stimulated if there is the second stimulation, second exposure rather you can say, of second exposure of antigen. So this is first exposure of antigen and this is the second exposure of antigen. So what will happen? Here also B cells are stimulated, and again after this second exposure, memory cell will convert again into plasma cell and memory cell. ठीक है? And this one after second exposure, they again, these memory cells will again convert into activated cytotoxic cells and memory cells. So this is the way how, and this T helper cell, sorry, they are also stimulating T cytotoxic cells. So this is the you can say combined diagram showing humoral immunity. One side is showing humoral immunity, another side is showing cell mediated immunity, in which only two different type of cells are involved, T cytotoxic cells and T helper cells are present in the center. So this cytotoxic cell will activated only if this antigen is presented through MHC1, and here it is MHC2. You should remember this always, where MHC1 will participate and where MHC2 will participate. So this is about the type of cell mediated immunity and humoral immunity. Now I am going to talk about the type of antibodies. So why it is called as antibodies? Because the foreign particle which has entered in the body, they are antigenic in nature, and body produces certain molecules in response to those foreign proteins. So they are called antibodies, but chemically it is called as immunoglobulin. So these are immunoglobulins. These are globular proteins which are secreted by specific type of B lymphocytes, plasma cells, and they can be of different types. They are not a single type that they are antibody and they can deal with any type of infection. So depending on the type of the organ or depending on the type of situation and the genetic makeup of the individual, these can be of different types. So immunoglobulin, we can say these are immunoglobulins. See, when you see their structure, they look quite, they are having Y-shaped structure. Every time I make this shows the middle one, the middle branch, or you can see the middle one is the heavy chain, and these are the two light chains. This is Y-shaped structure, and these two are called Fab fragments. Fab, fragment for antigen binding, that is Fab. And this stem of the Y-shaped structure is called FC, the fragment which can be crystallizable, and this fragment will have the receptors on certain immune cells. Certain leukocytes have receptors like mast cells. Neutrophils also have the receptors. They can bind for the complement fixation to certain leukocytes. So this is the structure of the rough structure of the antibody. I am giving you the detail of the antibody structure. So these are heavy chains. Very interesting structure is this, because here you can see the N terminal, and these are the C terminal ends, carboxy terminal. And these are light chains. These are two light chains, and a heavy chain is present, and these both the chains, they are bound together by disulfide linkage, and these are also attached by two disulfide linkages. So this is heavy chain, and this is light chain. These are light chains here also, N terminal and N terminal, and C and C. Okay, one more thing. Instead of this outer skeleton of these these are glycoprotein molecules. So they have this carboxy and N terminal, you all understand it. So instead of this, it has variable regions and constant region. VH, variable region of heavy chain, VH, and constant region of the heavy chain, CH, and this is for light chain, VL, CL, VL, CL, and various and how many constant regions will be there, that depend on the type of antibody. Okay, so you all know there are 5 types of antibodies or immunoglobulins. Immunoglobulin, in short we write like this, Ig, immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulin IgM, small for immunoglobulin IgM, IgA, IgD and IgE. These 5 type of immunoglobulins exist in the human body. So these 5 types are named, why they are called IgG, why IgM, IgA, IgE and IgD. I gave you in the notes also, depending on the type of heavy chain. For the IgG, gamma chain is there. So these constant regions of the heavy chain, they have a specific chain, whether it is gamma chain, mu chain, epsilon chain, alpha chain, epsilon chain and delta chain. So these are the, suppose I am talking about, so how many are there? Suppose 3 constant regions are there, CH1, CH2, CH3, CH1, CH2 and CH3. So they are, heavy chain is 50,000 Daltons and light chains are 25,000 Daltons each. So it makes the molecular weight of immunoglobulin. Separately we always call 50,000 and 25,000 Daltons. So another important thing about the antibody structure is, we say it Fab fragment, and one more thing, this hinge region, you see a little tilt inside in the arms of this, that is called hinge region, and hinge region provides flexibility to the antibody. So what type of flexibility here? Flexibility means, suppose these 2-3 different type of antigen or the microbes are there. Okay, so sometimes see antibody may bind like this, and sometimes if it is like this, it will bind like this. Suppose 2 antigenic determinants are very close, it will bind like this. So this provides the flexibility to the antibody structure. So type of antibodies, immunoglobulin type, immunoglobulin G type of antibody, you all know. This is the most abundant type of antibody, maybe 70% of antibody which are present in the blood, they are immunoglobulin G types. Oh, one more thing I missed. Here you see the variable region and constant region. So variable region is present in the Fab region and it is exposed. This is on the outer surface, on the outer side of the antibody structure, because it has to select, it has ability to identify different type of antigens. So this structure here you can make like this. Suppose this is the arm of the heavy chain. So these structures I told you earlier also, these are called as paratope. So it has to identify which kind of epitope it is binding. So epitope was present on the antigen and paratope is present on the antibody. So variable region, the amino acid sequences present in the variable region, they are highly flexible. They can cross link to the type of antigen which is being encountered. So after all the mechanisms of antigen recognition by antigen presenting cells, then T cell interact, and then T cell stimulate B lymphocyte for antibody production. If and after, when the antibodies are formed, so they have to bind with the circulating antigens which have entered from outside, and then antigen antibody complex will what they will do, they will make the complex antigen antibody complex to be easily phagocytosed by the phagocytic cells, so the infection can be cleared from the body. That is the main purpose of the immune system. So immunoglobulin G, I told you, they are this structure is, suppose it can be immunoglobulin G, except here constant region may vary and it will be CH gamma. Instead of CH1, CH2, you can write CH gamma. Depending on the type of, the constant number of constant regions may vary in different type of antibodies, as well as their so immunoglobulin IgG, IgM, IgA, IgD, IgE. These 5 types, this is monomer, means single unit can be seen. This is monomer, and IgM is pentamer. So this is not, this kind of 5 structures will unite together, and then they can whenever they are in the circulation and they have to encounter antigen, they will always be in the form of pentamer. So their valency will be, how many antigens can bind to the IgM? 10 antigen molecules. Here valency is 2. IgA is also monomer. No, it is dimer, sorry. IgA is dimer. It is present in the tears and mucosal secretions. This is present in the breast milk, first milk, that is colostrum. So this is dimer. This is monomer, and this is also monomer. So depending on the type of antibodies, so this is IgG is 70%, approximately 70% of antibodies which are present in the immune system, that is IgG. And this antibody, you also know that they can cross placenta from mother to the fetus. They can go, so fetus which is developing inside the mother's womb, they can have the immunoglobulin G from the mother itself. So when they are born, after few months, they start developing their own antibodies depending on the exposure of the particular baby to different type of antigens. So IgM is the first type of antibody which is generated after the antigen interaction immune response, and this is in the form of pentamer. IgA, it is in dimer, and IgD monomer. The main function of IgD is not much known. Number of constant region also vary, you can see in the books and notes I gave you. And another very important thing to know is the amount, the percentage. So 70 to 80% is IgG, and IgM is 6 to 10% in the blood as compared to others, and IgD is very less, 0 to 1%. IgA is 13 to 20%, and IgE is very less, it is 0.002% because it is involved in the allergic reactions. So if its amount increases in the blood, that means the person is allergic and cannot and one more thing, Ig antibodies, they are not free in the circulation. So whenever they are formed, they have a special ability to the surface of the mast cells, so they can bind to the surface of the mast cells. So mast cells and basophils in the blood. So details of the antibody structures are also told to you. If you have any question, you can ask me. And I think for you, this topic of cellular basis of immunity I have completed. If you have question in any question, you can ask me and I can take another class for solving your question. Thank you. Hope you got the idea of the cellular basis of immunity, what are different type of cells, how the immune response occurs, what are different type of immunity, and how different type of antibodies are formed. That is not in your syllabus because that is another detail to be taken care of. Thank you.